Immortals last week and was very successful until the very late game. The Kraken half swing didn't finish the Vayne, and Immortals just came back. That was a crazy match. So Cloud9 may be looking for the same draft strategy here against Immortals. But Immortals probably realizes that, and they need to have and switch up their draft a little bit to make sure they don't get snowballed by a comp so strong in the early game.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's going to be Kosh Kabanda away there. It's important to mention as well, Zelsia is going to be playing on the side of Immortals. Obviously, Max Green is typically the standard player, but I believe he's stepped out for this week. He didn't play yesterday either, but the Batiste is going to be the lock-in.
Yeah, now Cloud9 can pick Adagio Glaive, which is what they did last time, and Immortals, I think, played Cruel Batiste and a Batiste captain. So I think Cloud9 may just stick to what worked and then just make sure they can execute and finish the game completely here. And Immortals seems like they're confident. They're like, we won that game. We did get snowballed, but I think we can make a difference here. So let's see how this draft will play out.
We'll see what they're going to opt to go for here. The Batiste Baron, very strong in itself.
Oh, they go for Vox. This is so risky because Baron is good against Vox. Baron counters at Vox. However, the Grace Echo heal can keep Vox alive long enough to secure the kill on Baron. But it is a little risky from the side of Cloud9 because Vox is not that good into Baron because Baron is good late game against Vox.
Yeah, the Black Feather will be their tool to try and dive onto the Baron, but you know, it's not the most efficient if it's going to be a crystal power Black Feather, which is what I would expect it to be. And you also have to deal with the Batiste. Obviously, Rose Offensive can avoid a lot of that crowd control, but if a well-timed Fearsome Shade comes out when Gabe isn't necessarily in a position to block it, then they could really do some damage to this Black Feather. Like if they let the Black Feather dive in and then Fearsome Shade, and even if they target just Black Feather, it could be absolutely devastating. Immortals with their final pick. There's a few ways they could go with this. Last time they ran this composition against Cloud9, it was the Krull that they picked up as the last pick. But it's a situation where I don't think the Krull would be an ideal pick into this Cloud9 comp.
But then we've seen Cloud9 quite happy to pick the Krull even when it's not the optimal pick. It's not going to be the same from Immortals. Kestrel comes on through here. So you'd assume the Batiste going into captain role now.
Yep.
It seems unlikely that it's a Kestrel captain to me. But yeah, you're right. A lot of poke damage, a lot of high burst damage coming out from Immortals as well here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious to see the fact that Immortals are running with what's like to be a Crystal Kestrel, because it just doesn't feel like, when Immortals does well, so often it feels like it's because T-Tigers is on an engaging playmaking hero. And while Kestrel can be a playmaker, it's a very passive playmaker at times. So unless he can get some really nice movements with the active camo that don't get spotted out, then T-Tigers can absolutely take over.
T-Tiger is one of the best Kestrels. We saw that last season. Amazing CP Kestrel. So as long as they poke, get turrets before Grace gets Echo, abuse that range, they may be able to take it here.
All right, we'll see whether this comfort pick is going to be enough for Immortals to come in strong onto this one. They're going up against Cloud9, though, so it's always going to be a challenge. Let us know who you are supporting. These are two of the favorite American teams coming onto the fold here. Hashtag Vainglory8 on Twitter to let us know who you want to win. But it's time to get into this semi-final. It's Cloud9 going up against Immortals.
Oi, about that time, eh, chaps? Cloud9 versus Immortals. And I'm here with Denomine. Denomine, how are you feeling? To be on VG8 stream here, and you've cast on VG8 before, but this is your first time on the main stream, correct?
This is my first time on the main stream. I've done a lot on the Vis League channel for the off-stream games, but this is something I'm excited for.
Nice, well, it's great to have you here, guys, and all the viewers, thanks for tuning in. I think this is going to be a really fun matchup here. C9 versus Immortals, both these very high firepowered teams, very mechanically gifted teams, I think, on both sides.
Absolutely. This is, this Immortals roster particularly, unfortunately they are playing with a sub, but they have been a very hyped up team so far throughout this season. Kind of a rough split for them, but they definitely looking to pick up some points here. They were able to clean up some games against TSM the other day, so I definitely have high hopes for them going into C9 here.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's doing pretty well against TSM in the last week or two. We'll see, though. Obviously, Immortals playing very well. So T-Tigers getting back to the Kestrel. Haven't seen him play as much Kestrel as of recent, but we know he's one of the best. I think this is going to be pretty exciting. Always the sneaky, very talented players make for the most exciting Kestrel games.
Absolutely. We'll probably see him go that typical double Shatterglass build that he really made popular in North America. We used to see that Shatterglass Clockwork, but Shatterglass just does so much raw damage.
Shatterglass. I like it. That could even be a song right there.
Only if you wrap it, right?
I mean, we could get into that in between the game. Maybe we'll put out. I mean, you're all money. That's just a good idea, Day. All right, so we have a little aggression here in the jungle. Zelsier moving in with T-Tigers, and Joseph's able to grab his mid, but he just gets destroyed right there. A very easy first blood, you could say, for Immortals as they move over.
Yeah, good start for them, picking up that first blood, especially going on to T-Tiger. Oh, actually went on to Zelsier, my bad. So we'll get a little bit earlier of a Fountain, as opposed to Kestrel being online sooner than later. The matchup for me here is definitely going to be the Old School versus Dienzio in the lane. Old School is such a absolutely fantastic box.
Yeah, I agree with you, and he's been playing a lot of it too. I think for good reason. Obviously, you're getting out here to try to win. They're going to give you the Vox. Why not? Now, Vox, he can do pretty well into Baron at stages, hitting certain power spikes through the mid game. Baron should dominate him in the late game, but maybe he never gets a chance to actually get there. But as you said, this is where we should probably keep our eyes, and of course into the jungle and where T-Tigers is rotating. He's currently moving forward in stealth right there. He's going to find Gabe Vessel, Glimmer Shots there. Holy Nova is going to whiff, safe to throw that out. It's kind of a zoning Holy Nova, it felt like.
Yeah, and unfortunately he wasn't able to catch a stun there. If it would have got down onto T-Tigers, Joseph could have followed up with a lot of damage. As far as this jungle matchup, it's going to be about Zelsier preventing Joseph in this early and mid game from getting to T-Tigers, because if this Crystal Blackfeather is allowed to get onto Kestrel, it's going to be a nightmare for Immortals.
Yeah, I think if he gets on the Kestrel, it's just dead. Like, that's kind of your win condition for that matchup. You have to remain elusive. We'll see if Tiggs can do that. I'm sure he'll be as careful as possible. And, mentioning getting on top of a target, that's the elements of surprise, and vision is going to be a huge deal for these teams. So we'll see if one or two of these captains actually get into contraptions.
I definitely think if you're Cloud9, you have to go into a contraption. You can't let T-Tigers have that free reign over dancing around the fight, especially not wanting to walk into one of those double Shatterglass active camos can basically just eliminate somebody in a matter of a second.
Tiggs moving in onto that shot brush once again. He just throws out 1-2 Glimmer Shots, connect, 3-4 do not, but immediately you can see Old School is just like, yeah, I'm not hanging around, it's not worth it. I'd like to buy some items, but very quickly just getting right back to the base so he can shop and get back out in the lane. That's his Poison Shiv picked up. I think Gabe picks up his Fountain as well on that rotation, so a nice early Fountain and Poison Shiv should help them out a lot.
Yeah, and Poison Shiv being such a particularly good item for Vox, he's able to get a lot of attacks down and keep that mortal wound on an enemy much easier than a lot of other heroes. Good use of jump jets there by Dienzio, getting away from Gabe Bizzle.
Yeah, Zio, once that on point connected, he's like, yeah, let's not play games right now. Not quite ready. I'm excited to see Zio as he does get his first couple items together. Typically, it's around that 3-item mark that we see our Barons really come online. But depending if he gets some openings, maybe he gets 1.5, 2 items, he can still have a bit of an impact. Kestrel moving up. There's a couple Glimmer Shots. Ordained. Old School able to block that and get out of there, forcing the Fountain out of Gabe. So that does put C9 on a bit of a back foot here. And we'll see what Immortals can get out of this.
Yeah, Immortals definitely has an opportunity to do a lot of pushing with this Crystal Kestrel. A couple good Glimmer Shots there onto Old School.
Yeah, I really like how he's got that angle right there. Zio jump jets forward, just hits Old School. Old School really has to respect this. He can't move forward. Oh, and of course with the Glimmer Shots coming through, if he's in range to get a last hit, he's almost in range to die right here. Really has to respect the damage coming out. So much burst damage. T-Tiger is not really feeling threatened at all. I mean, what are they going to do? You're going to jump in, you're going to commit. We have a Fountain, we can turn it around. The turret taking a whole bunch of damage. And this is like, just hold it as long as you can. Old School had to port back, and they're going to lose turret here. In less than 6 minutes, Immortals able to take this turret down with the Baron, no less.
Yeah, and that's a huge spike going on over to Baron now. That's going to really help him get to the late game. You definitely don't want to be losing early against the Baron, because if he's able to come online early, then you're going to lose much earlier.
As soon as he's online, you lose, I guess. Shatterglass is out for Tiggs. And, of course, any Kestrel player is going to know you are liking it at this point. And he's got a couple batteries, keep himself full of energy as you rotate through. As long as he's getting the healing camps, and with those couple batteries, he honestly shouldn't even have to ever go back to the base, unless he takes like a whole bunch of damage or something.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting here. The rotations from C9 are going to have to be a little bit more aggressive to try to get Dienzio in an uncomfortable position here in the early game. And they haven't done so far. We have about a 1.5k gold lead now for Immortals, as well as Dienzio almost having enough gold to complete that second tier 3 item, which is going to be the tension bow.
Yeah, I think Zio's feeling really good, and he just gets his ultimate right now. So they have the ion cannon. He's going to get a little bonus range on that attack. And this is what Baron loves. Like, dude, every time you get that extra point into your ultimate, it's just an amazing feeling. Zelsiar, you're going to be picking up... Ooh, Tiggs just lighting Gabe up as he moved into that brush. One shot, just clips Gabe there. Whole bunch of damage, though. You can see Zio throwing out the bite defensive items. Just kind of being a silly man. Goldmine are going the way of Immortals. It looks like Ion Cannon throwdown to secure that. And Immortals just kind of in complete control here.
Yeah, looking really good. I think if you're Gabe Vizzle, you have to potentially go into a little bit of extra shield to really soak up some of that damage that T-Tigers is laying down. Again, he's working towards the contraption now, which will help them find T-Tigers in these fights. And once a Crystal Kestrel's hit, then she's really vulnerable for the rest of that fight.
Yeah, it's interesting. Of course, it does force him to go off of the Echo, which a lot of times we'll see come out super fast, super early, even just like Fountain into Echo. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to affect their actual play style. Immortals moving forward, they have flares out. Tiggs just kind of carefully using that active camo. He's kind of respecting the fact that Gabe may have scout traps down as he moves forward and not putting himself in a vulnerable position. On point connects over the wall. Very nice job there from Joseph. Wait for it out, and I don't know what that was all about. Joseph actually moving forward. Joseph pulls the trigger, gets in there T-Tigers, but they light him up, blow him up, and Old School is in a bad place. There's no way he can get out of here. He's going to go down. Zio credited with that kill, and suddenly it's 3-0, 8.5 minutes in here. And we have over 2.5 plus net worth lead building up for Immortals as well. And imagine that this turret's going to take a little chip damage as well.
Turret is going to take a lot of damage here. Fortunately, in that fight, T-Tigers was able to find an active camo onto Old School before he was able to finish him off. So good plays there out of Immortals, and T-Tigers narrowly escaping.
Yeah, huge plays. But now that contraption's completed for Gabe, they should at least, if they have a moment where they're not fighting, they should be just putting vision down everywhere. And it will become increasingly more difficult for T-Tigers to move forward and find any kind of sneaky traps to lay down or surprising someone with glimmer shots just out of nowhere. Dave, what are you thinking for C9? Are they waiting on something? Do they need to hit some levels? Do they need to get some farm? Because if they're waiting on something, I feel like Zio's got to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, you don't want to wait against this composition that Immortals has. You know, as Zelsiar gets that Echo even, he's going to be a huge threat because there's just so much that Gabe Vizzle is going to have to block. And then obviously the Baron coming online is going to be absolutely huge. And having the lead they have, he's going to come on very early here.
T-Tigers just laying glimmer shots down. The one shots, I mean, it had the angle. Joseph just dips down to avoid that. It's going to force Old School to go ahead and port back, but honestly, it's scary when the CP Blackfeather hits a squishy target with an on point like the Kestrel. But I mean, the damage that's coming out of Kestrel's glimmer shots right now is so immense, and he's getting at least 2 glimmers off compared to like the 1 on point every time they trade.
Yeah, and again, the damage is really attributed to the fact that he's going double Shatterglass, which is why shielding is really so important for Gabe Vizzle, so that he can be that front line and soak up that damage, get a flare down, and then they can safely make an engage. But as this game gets later and later with the lead that Immortals has, it's going to be really, really dangerous for them to try to go in on this Baron.
Zelsiar just picked up the Echo. Things are about to be getting fun here. We have Tyrant's Monocle complete for Zio, as well as his level 6 Infusion times out. Level 6 Infusion should just be, I think we can just call that the Zio Infusion at this point. I think he does it more than anybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's available here. Joseph does have the level 10 Infusion compared to the level 9 Infusion of T-Tigers. So this next fight can really make a huge difference. If Joseph doesn't get anything out of this infusion, it's basically a wasted 500 gold. So it's going to be rough if C9 can't find a fight here in the next 2 minutes.
It feels like they both really want to fight. Old School is going to infuse up. They know they need to make something happen. They move forward, but it's like, okay, we're not going to get baited into Crystal Sentry area. So Immortals are just kind of playing games very nicely. Active Camo's down. Gabe Vizzel's going to move forward. He blocks off the stun there. T-Tiger's kiting backwards. Joseph trying to get on target, but Zeo turns around, has the damage. Look at that Fearsome Shade disrupting the fight. Goldminer will absorb the one shot as it comes out of Tigers. That would have been pretty devastating, I think, if it came through and hit. Old School, he's off to the west side here, and he's going to try and get the gold miner. This is sketchy situation. He gets it. He's going to get the divine intervention, and he gets crit and bursts down. So the heal was cute, but the damage coming out much more threatening there. And so that's a huge win. That's a very big win, of course, for Cloud9, but I don't know if it's enough.
It's definitely not enough because, again, we still have a 3.5k gold lead for Immortals, and they're taking such an early lead with Baron that it's going to be really difficult for Old School to actually tank up. We see he's actually just now completed his 3rd offensive item, and he is not surviving in these fights because he only has that tier 1 armor. And Dienzio is well on his way to his 4th offensive item, and that's going to be absolutely huge spike for Immortals. So if C9 isn't careful and find a pick here, then this might be a game pretty cleanly going over to Immortals.
Well, we know Immortals is a team that is capable of taking down pretty much anybody out there, but I think, things have definitely been shaken up here in the last few weeks. We see Rogue take down TSM, Immortals as well, and then Immortals come through, take out C9. Wouldn't be too surprising, but let's see how things play out here. 13 minutes in, Immortals doing pretty well. One shot, not the one he wanted, but not a big deal. Cooldown, it's not that long at this point. It's only about 30 seconds or so. As they'll move forward. Really, this is the game is kind of taking control of the vision, moving your vision line forward. Zelciar is going to poke. Joseph's here. On point connects. The wait for it's going to come down the line, landing onto 2. Can they chase? Fearsome Shade does connect onto Gabe, kind of disrupting that, and he'll be able to echo that denominate, so he has another one ready to go if they do engage here. Both teams still holding fountains. Nobody really threatened there. So that was kind of like an awkward engagement where nobody got caught and they just kind of disengaged.
Yeah, and one of the huge things there was that Gabe is actually held his crucible. Hold on 2 minutes.
There's your Fearsome Shade connects. Zeo moving forward. Joseph gets a big heal. He's still alive. 397 damage on that crit as Zeo takes him down. Let's see if he goes for Gabe. Gabe taking a whole bunch of damage with one shot. Can Zeo go over the wall? 3 seconds for that jump jets. Looks like Gabe should be able to get out of here. Yes, he will. But that means that Immortals can just pull up and go for this Crystal Sentry, and that's going to be pretty easy for them. Looks like they'll get the backs as well. And now, with that win in the fight, this is the point where they can definitely start to control vision.
Yeah, definitely. And getting that sentry down is something that we've seen a lot of the top tier teams in both NA and EU do. If you can get that sentry eliminated for the 3rd time, then it's no longer there, and you really have free reign to chase as far as you want.
Yeah, that's a very freeing moment when you realize that kind of the jungle is kind of yours now. Clockwork picked up for Tiggs, so he's going to move up with that. It's going to be happy to be picking up this item here, and we'll see. Maybe he goes for his Broken Myth next. But he's in a great place right now. 3-0-4 on the CP Kestrel, and we haven't seen him play it as too much as of recently. But this is definitely one of his top picks if you go back into the hero pool and his overall performances. Zeo has the Tornado Trigger complete, so he has 4 offensive items complete. Where does he go from here?
You have to go into more defense here. If Baron just is able to get onto Vox, then it's going to be pretty heavily on the favor of Baron. So realistically, Dienzio at least can go with either an Aegis just as an extra block, or he can go with some upgrading his armor just so that Old School isn't able to really try to duel him. If Dienzio's jump jets aren't used onto Old School and he's full health, then Vox can actually easily outduel a Baron if he doesn't have that available to him.
One shot coming through. T-Tiger's not going to connect on that one. Throws out a level 12 infusion right now. And you see the flares coming out, of course, from Gabe, just kind of giving a little bit of information to his team. They'll know that there's scout traps there. Zelciar doing the same thing, clearing scout traps around Kraken Pit there. And moving up into the lane, a couple jump jets coming out of Zeo. Joseph really has to respect this. Honestly, Joseph has a lot of burst damage, but he's built only the Shatterglass, a couple crystal bits. Like, with the Aegis and him building defense and still getting lit up like that, it feels like a big loss.
It definitely does, and just to see Joseph only having one tier 3 offensive item complete compared to T-Tiger's 3 is definitely that huge spike of damage difference, and that's not where you want to be on a Crystal Blackfeather. You really want to snowball the early game and get through to a safe point in the game that you can really take the fights away. It's really difficult to play from behind as a Crystal Blackfeather.
Oh, the Kestrel's loving playing from ahead right now. Tigers with the infusion, the double Shatterglass, the clockwork will be moving forward and just lighting people up here. Glimmer shots for days. Echo just picked up for Gabe here. So this is an item that got delayed by the forced contraption. So strategically delayed by just the composition coming out of Immortals. Well, let's see if this has an impact. You know that double heal is so incredibly strong. Whether it's Joseph committing or Old School trying to just stick on to Zeo here. Joseph on point onto Zeo. Zeo, a couple attacks. The Rose offensive forward. Jump jets backwards. Old School throws the Wade forward, but he connects onto Old School. Look at the heal coming out. There's one heal. He's going to go ahead and echo that. No, he already used two. My goodness. Look at that. Zelsier melting, trying to get back. He's down. The Batiste echo just did not have the impact they're looking for, and they're going to try to hunt T-Tigers down. Now look at all the scout traps. The flares coming out. They have vision everywhere. He's going to have to really be sneaky on this one. Gabe Vizzle, Benedict's forward, finds him. T-Tigers, they just keep the damage on him. He won't ever be able to stealth again. That's the ace for C9 as Immortals just get caught out there.
Yeah, it was absolutely great for Cloud9 there. We talked about the Blackfeather being hard to play from behind. Vox is not, though. Vox definitely has an opportunity, especially if he's allowed to build up a couple stacks before the fight, where he can really ramp up quickly and take over a fight. That's what we saw. The heal came out of Gabe Vizzle, allowed Old School to live just a little bit longer than he would have, and that's really what let him get those breaking point stacks up, took Dienzio off the map, took Zelsier off the map, and then with all the vision Gabe Vizzle has, it was easy pickings for them to clean up the ace.
Yeah, I think T-Tigers is going to realize, like, next time, I don't think I can run anywhere on their side of the map and try to be evasive. Zeo also, like, in that fight, how deceptive was that? It felt like one more attack and he would have been able to take Old School down, then suddenly just mass heal comes through and Old School's just stacking breaking point and melting through you like butter. T-Tigers moving forward under stealth. They don't see him yet. Scout trap put down by Gabe, but cleared out very quickly. Flares from Zelsier as well. They'll clear out a shot brush down there. Immortals and Cloud9 really just battling over the middle area of the map here. And if you look at the map, though, like, there are just so many scout traps down from Gabe. Look everywhere. I don't even know how many are actually down right now.
There's a ton, and that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the game when the draft was going through. Was it's so difficult if you let Kestrel have her advantage over a fight. If you let Kestrel go unnoticed, then she's gonna get good glimmer shots down on your backline. And Gabe Vizzle has made sure that in this late game, Kestrel is not allowed to do so. They literally have vision everywhere.
I like that they know where Immortals are. They're in the top brush right there. So they dip down into the Kraken area, the middle area of the map, and they clear out the scout traps there just because, nothing's happening right now. And if Immortals are going to give them that opportunity to roam around that area, why not? A lot of active camos just being dropped right in that choke point as you move up from the jungle into the lane. Of course, Cloud9 not going to be baited into that. Old School eventually gets back up into the lane to get those lane minions. Joseph, he'll clear out the jungle a little bit here. It's kind of just a standoff at this point, and I don't know if it's going to come down to one team baiting over this Kraken here. I mean, you're going to have to realize, like, something's going to happen here. One of these teams is going to start. Oh, big stun on the Gabe. Can they follow up here with... Wait for it, comes through. Old School. He's right onto Tigers. Tigers, dude, I don't even know. That is so uncharacteristic of his positioning. And Joseph almost going down to the damage out of Zeo, but he'll get healed up from the Divine Intervention. Plus the Fountain coming through. That was a huge win. And now C9 on Kraken. Zelsier and Zeo are watching from the wings over here. They have Crucible, they have War Treads. Jump jets backwards. Zeo still gets hit with the on-point. Joseph, Rose offensives forward. Old School. Oh, double on-point as they move forward. Look at that. They just lined up for Joseph. And Joseph says, thank you very much. I will take that.
What a amazing fight for Cloud9 there. I don't think we can really give them enough credit. Gabe Bizzle, with perfectly timed divine interventions, was able to keep his team alive. In fact, healed Joseph up from a sliver of health to basically full health in a matter of a second, and that's really what gave him the opportunity to dive down. Obviously, we also had the Echo going through, gave him a second heal. That's an ace and a Kraken actually going over to Cloud9, as well as now a 2,000 gold swing in their favor.
Wow. Just very small mistakes from Immortals, but also the strength of the composition showing from Cloud9. And we would expect at this level that, a mistake's going to be made. It's going to be taken advantage of. We'll see what happens here as Cloud9 moves forward. They're going to take the Crystal Sentry out as Kraken continues to march down the lane. Just a very smart move, very efficient movement from Cloud9. Moving forward right now, active camo down. I wouldn't imagine that C9 moved forward without vision. They're going to be they would be blown up there. That's actually not a problem as Kestrel's moved back out of range of those glimmers now. They want to take this Kraken down as it's starting to do damage onto this choke point turret. Here is Zeo. And he's got just this straight up damage build. He just wants to chunk people down, but he's not finding the kills once he gets this jump jets, and once they get healed up, he's kind of left in a very vulnerable area. But it looks like they're going to lose one turret, and Cloud9 owned the jungle as well. So I don't know. It could have been worse for Immortals, but still pretty bad.
Yeah, it could have been, and that last fight particularly looked really good for Cloud9. They were able to pick T-Tigers off very early, and that's the one downfall of this Crystal Kestrel versus the weapon. If you are taking damage, then you can't really, you can't go invisible again. You can't really separate yourself from that damage.
They're being sneaky.
They're being very sneaky.
They're being really sneaky. I like this. What's the play? Cloud9. They're here for the fans, but Tiger's gonna find them. They get the stun right there, but that was a big slumbering husk on Joseph. He's trading his on to Tigers. They're able to take him down. Zeo finds the damage. Old School, he's on target, getting some breaking point stacks. He needs the Sonic Zoom back in there, but it's Zelsier on the front side. Zelsier doing a good job. Uses War Treads, allows Zeo to reposition backwards. Zeo's low, Tigers low, Zelsier low, but they're finding the kills. They're moving forward. They nominate. Immortals are doing it! They found the kill! The sneakiness of Cloud9 has come back to bite them in the butt here. Dude, it's like, okay, you're gonna try and be sneaky up against the sneaky man T-Tigers himself, and it just backfired.
Yeah, it was a great slumbering husk from Joseph. He did get stunned up by the active camo, but that was the one spot in the map that Cloud9 didn't have any vision, and they didn't see it coming, and that really gave Immortals the edge on that jump.
Dude, okay, I mean, yeah, how lucky of Immortals that Cloud9 actually fought there. I was gonna say, like, how lucky, but I don't even know if it's a luck. It's just strategical. But Cloud9, what are the odds that Cloud9 do choose to take a fight where they don't actually have vision down? Let that be a lesson learned to them. Even though they're taking these fights, they have the majority of the map under control. You have to assume. If you don't have vision, you have to assume that Tigers is there.
Yeah,
okay, moving forward, double active camo down. He finds the stun. Glimmer's coming through, and that puts Gabe down sub 50% HP very quickly. And looks like he's gonna just port home to heal up. Yeah, no big deal. I think he could have healed himself with an ult with a short cooldown, but not a big deal. This does give an opportunity here for the Kraken capture to go over to Immortals, and they're lighting it up very quickly. Cloud9, they're not even reacting. Cloud9, just like on the back foot there, not even responding to that. This makes for a very interesting situation. What's the play here?
This is an interesting opportunity now for Immortals. We see a lot of teams when they push with this Kraken that they really can throw a fight very easily, not maybe respecting a heavy engage from the enemy team. And that's really what Cloud9 needs here. If they can find an ace, they can just base race and push for the win.
Zeo attacks Joseph one time, slumbering hucks. Zeo jump jets backwards, Old School boots in, Sonic Zoom trying to get on top of Zeo, but Zeo says, no, thou shalt not kill me today. I am a Baron, I have attack range. Waits for his teammate to do most of the work. One shot connects onto Old School, and now Immortals look to chase forward Joseph, trying to port out with the flare. He can't just stand his ground there. Old School gets hits with a couple glimmer shots. T-Tigers with the benediction from Gabe Vizzle over the wall. Zeo jump jets backwards one more time. Joseph dropping low. The Fountain plus the Crucible keeping him alive. But look at the Kraken in the base. What's going on? Just stop the teleport. Just stop the teleport. Yes, T-Tigers hits him with the blind glimmer. Stops that one. And a one shot? No, that's not going to hit. Old School should be able to port back. They should be able to take Kraken down, but they will have no turrets remaining. I'm actually very surprised that Immortals didn't just try to stop their ports home there.
Yeah, I think Dienzio was so incredibly low that if they lose out on the Baron, then that's that opportunity we were talking about where Cloud9 can really just push to win the game. So they play it safe. They know this is an important game for them. They need the points. So they're going to back off and just try to pick one more fight. All they really have to do is get one kill, and then as a team, they can really push this exposed Vayne, and there's not going to be anything that either Old School or Joseph by themselves can do to stop it.
All right, channel your inner prophet self, Denomine, and tell me who will be the next person on the map to die.
The next person on the map to die is... I'm gonna give the credit to Cloud9. They've looked really good this season. I think they catch T-Tigers.
Oh, Tiggs, you are about to get caught out here, says Prophet Day. We'll see if that's gonna come to light here. I could easily see that happening. I could see Zelsier trying to front line and getting melted down, and it could just go the other way as Immortals could catch out. Maybe Joseph trying to dive in onto a target here. Really tricky situations. This for either team. It's just like one. If you win a team fight, boom, the game's over here.
Yeah, I mean, either team. There's enough damage on both sides, particularly for Cloud9. They will be able to clean up the turrets if they need to. Obviously, Immortals, they don't have to worry about turrets. They're just going to go in, and here T-Tigers takes a bit of damage.
T-Tigers getting caught out. The wait for it. They're on point. You got it. Always the Prophet. The nominee. You're so powerful. I don't know how you do what you do. Okay, Fearsome Jay is going to catch some Zelsier. Oh, he's actually throwing both jump jets. Zeo trying to buy time, trying to be elusive. Zeo is going to get hit with the Fountain from range. He's on to Joseph, but Divine Intervention is there. He's going to get healed up plus the Holy Shield. Nothing Zeo can do. Immortals get aced. An absolute disaster. Oh my gosh. How did this happen? T-Tigers getting caught out there. I mean, it was a reverse caster curse there. Like, sometimes we're, like, singing the praises of one of these players, we curse them, but right there, that was just the Prophet cursing them.
Yeah, that is a great game played by Cloud9 here. With these death timers, they should easily be able to close out this game uncontested. And that is very likely Cloud9 taking the first game of the series. With really an amazing comeback. They were down pretty far, Humanist.
Yeah. And now it hurts even more to think about the fact that Immortals didn't even try to stop those ports back when Kraken was beating down on the base of Cloud9. Pretty hard way to lose game one here, especially for Immortals, who seriously want to win. But let's go ahead and break that one down a little bit more. Let's go ahead and throw it back over to our analyst desk.